We're talking TikTok updates in today's video. I'm really excited to get down to some of the nitty-gritty here. I recently had the privilege of attending TikTok's online transparency forum. They host these every so often, and I want to share what's next with TikTok. Contrary to all the info mongering out there, TikTok is not updating their algorithm every other hour, and they're very clear about that. But there are some new additions to the platform, new features, new guideline revisions that I want to cover in today's video. So if you appreciate this information, leave a like down below and consider checking out some of the master classes in private groups that we have in the description. And without further ado, let's get the show on the road. So let's get into the first major update, and that is TikTok's live streaming abilities for mobile gaming. This feature gets me really pumped and excited because I do think it has the potential to be one of those revolutionary changing features on TikTok, like the duet or the green screen feature. What TikTok is doing right now is they're beta testing live streaming for mobile games with a handful of users. Here are actually some early screen recordings that sort of detail what is possible, what the notifications look like, what the accessibility of the feature is going to look like. What gets me really excited about all of this is that TikTok really is starting to pioneer a new vein of live streaming. You were able to live stream mobile on Twitch if you had the right tools, but it wasn't very intuitive and people didn't really know how to watch and actually stream that content, make it interesting. This is something that I think could be a good action item for you to research. If you wanted to get into this live streaming space and find a way to be a shark in this water, look at what you really engage with on Twitch. Do some research about what is doing well on Twitch. You might get the opportunity to be that sort of individual over on TikTok if you can find a way to get your foot in the door. The next thing I want to discuss, and a very important topic, are the regional community guidelines on TikTok. This is something that not a lot of people are aware of. It's actually something that's been in effect for quite some time now. There's been a lot of confusion recently about what's allowed and not allowed on TikTok when it comes to your videos getting taken down. There's a lot of finger pointing when a violation happens. Someone will say, my content was taken down for this reason, whereas this individual is doing the same thing, but much worse, but they're allowed visibility with their content on TikTok. Now, I'm not saying that mistakes don't happen. I consult with creators on a daily basis, and I'll be the very first to say that TikTok is a very imperfect system. But there's two important things to understand about how TikTok reviews and grades your content in comparison to other videos that exist out there from other accounts. In short, it's not a one-size-fits-all. You're not necessarily all held to the same standard, and that's because of two reasons. Number one is TikTok uses your content record to hold you to a standard. If you start your videos that you're uploading to TikTok with you constantly swearing from day one, you're using vulgarity and cuss words, you start to develop this audience that is immune and approves of that content, and TikTok profiles you as someone who can get away with that. Now, on the other hand, if you have another profile that maybe engages in cooking content, and you start to build this audience that is not used to you swearing in your videos, and then you do something, it doesn't have to be swearing, but you do something that does go against sort of the general reception that your audience has had to whatever the standard content you would upload is, then those videos often get pulled down. This is your content record, right? Your track record, the paper trail of your content is often used in determining which videos get pulled down. Secondly, there are regional standards that your content is also held to that are different from other videos depending on where they're posted. Regional community guidelines, as they're known as. TikTok actually have what are called cultural moderators, and I'm going to go into all the nitty-gritty of how they have their system set up in our algorithm documentary, which will be released here in hopefully pretty soon. But TikTok has cultural moderators behind the scenes, which are basically teams that have to apply a different set of moderation and regulation to content depending on where it's located in the world. For example, one of the things that we've been researching are certain hashtag groups that are allowed in certain territories, but not in others. Hashtags like cryptos or stock signals or North Korea or other political and historical related hashtags will just not surface. They are completely blacklisted on TikTok in certain territories, especially in Eastern Europe, but you can get away with those in maybe some Western countries. So the same is often true with the different guidelines TikTok has on their website, the Spanish, the French, all the different language guidelines. Some of the standards are a little bit different, and a lot of us weren't aware of this because, well, a lot of you, probably like myself, don't speak multiple languages or are bilingual. So I want you to keep that in mind too whenever you're comparing your content to someone else's. The territory in which they've posted that vastly influences the distribution of that content and even the chance of it being able to be seen at all. The next thing I want to share with you is TikTok prioritizing ranking and search on mobile. One of the huge pushes we've seen over these past few months that we've talked about on YouTube and in depth in our TikTok Creator Pro live streams, which you can access down below, is the fact that TikTok has really started to prioritize the push for certain keywords to be used in videos and phrases to help classify and group, categorize certain topics on TikTok. People are turning to TikTok as a search engine to learn how to fix a leaky sink or how to change a tire. And they're finding all these different mechanic and plumbing-based accounts that are actually filling a void. It's their solutions solving a problem. And TikTok recognizes that. And so they're really, really starting to push certain creators that are more educational, info-based, to utilize certain keywords in their videos. And you'll see these. If you go onto TikTok and you start searching for any random topic, TikTok might even actually autofill it, or they'll say other people have also searched this, and they'll give a bunch of other suggestions. We're encouraging a lot of our clients to use those in their videos, specifically use those phrases in the text bubbles that appear on screen. Also create a custom hashtag as well, something that is related to your industry that you upload content in. The next update I'm thrilled to share with you is the announcement of what TikTok calls their Effect House. And no, this is not another creative co-collaboration house somehow doomed to die like they all do. It is actually a platform that TikTok recently introduced that allows anyone to build what are called community effects for TikTok. Very similar to what you might think of the custom filters that we all use on Instagram. Effect House actually is live for any creator to access, so I'll leave the link down below if you're interested in giving it a whirl. I was having a conversation in Discord with some other creator friends recently, and we were talking about some of the impacts that the Effect House may have and how it's actually fundamentally TikTok's clever way of sort of siphoning ideas based on giving us all these tools. And these are ideas they might use for future effects that they actually will introduce into the app. They're giving us this entire entourage of tools that we can make use of. And if a creator develops an effect, for example, that really pops off, it's viral, TikTok knows there's a lot of demand for an idea like that, and they might pursue creating an effect in a similar avenue to whatever that idea was. We actually saw TikTok doing this in the past. The playlist feature, for example, was a response to the popular demand for somehow giving us a way to categorize our videos. The default way that people were using in 2019, 2020, if you were even on the platform at that time, is they would create a hashtag like rainy day series challenge or something like that. And that would be a broad umbrella that you would sort of encapsulate all of your sequential videos under. And the last thing I'll mention with the Effect House is that TikTok has also hinted at giving some sort of financial incentive for creators that create effects that really are major contributions to the platform. We're talking effects that really are used in almost every video, and they're really ingenious, clever ideas, which could be interesting. So there's sort of a motivation to an incentive, if you will, to get involved in the Effect House, and maybe you might hit it off and create something that has some serious ripples on TikTok culture. The last thing I want to share with you is TikTok's development of what they call community commerce. TikTok has had a huge push in these past few months, and I know I've parroted this in previous videos, but I promise I do want to emphasize a few action items here. They've really been trying to develop what they call their commerce engine, or community commerce, which is their fancy way of saying, how can we get users to buy physical products in as easy and a frictionless process as possible? And a lot of this is motivated by their desire to create additional revenue streams for themselves on the app that are not just reliant on ads, because this is one of the smart concepts that TikTok has kind of always operated on. They realize that ads kill the party. Too many ads and you get a mass exodus of users leaving the platform, like you see with Facebook. And we've seen over these past few months, TikTok really focus on introducing new features like the TikTok Shop, the TikTok Store, which gives brands the ability to list products and then send custom affiliate offers to creators who can be ambassadors and include the links to those products in their videos, which you can order on TikTok. TikTok has mentioned in some of the events that I've been able to attend that one of the best mediums for conversion they've realized that is extremely massive, undervalued on TikTok are the live streams. The live streams are crazy gold mines for converting purchases, specifically in acquiring purchases. This is something the Chinese apps have been doing for the longest time. Douyin, which is the Chinese version of TikTok, they have influencers on there pulling over 37 million views total on certain live streams, doing what they call shoppertainment. And this is why live streams are really helpful, is there's only so much you can package in a video, and a live stream gives you the ability to answer questions and show different aspects of the product, show its uses, or if you're offering a service, for example. And this applies to all of you who are either coaches or have some sort of a digital product, or maybe you offer coaching. The best way to communicate this really is on a live stream, and that's where I would encourage you to funnel a lot of your viewers towards. This is why the scheduling event for a live stream is really helpful. But that pretty much concludes this video. Listen, I know this was kind of a shotgun blast of a lot of different new additions to TikTok. I love talking about this stuff, so I hope you enjoyed and extracted value from this video. Leave a like down below if you did, and we'll catch you around next time. Cheers.